So today's video will be me asking you, how badly do you actually want to become a footballer? Now, let me start by telling a story. So I remember back when I was in college, I remember me and my friend, we were just sitting down doing our work, and then he asked me a question. He was like, "Alright, Jaden, I know ideally you want to become, a professional footballer, but what happens if you don't become a professional footballer?" And I sat there for a few minutes and I was thinking, I was like, what do I actually want to do, if I go to uni? What do I actually do if I don't become a professional footballer? What job, what career do I actually want to go into? So I was thinking, and I literally just said to him, yo, I think I want to be an accountant, like accountant. I heard they make a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? A lot of money. It's a respected job, people respect people being accountants. I heard that some people do like a, what's it called? Some people do an apprenticeship for like 3 years, then they're making a lot of money. They automatically go to like 50k or something, 50k a year or something. And I was like, yo, that sounds pretty decent, you know what I'm saying? But then my friend said to me that, yeah, being an accountant is cool and that, but you have to remember all the bad things that come with it, you understand? He was saying that, being an accountant, you have to work long hours, you know what I'm saying? He was saying, imagine them days you have to work like 12, 13, 14 hours and all of that. You don't get to see your family, you don't get to see your wife, your kids. You're gonna be stressed all the time. This is gonna happen to you, that's gonna happen to you. He was saying, it's not worth it. And what's it called? I tell this story to say that when you're deciding on becoming a professional footballer, when you actually tell yourself you want to become a professional footballer, you have to sort of take your mind off of all the good things. And the good things are like, the fame, the money. Obviously, you probably love the game of football as well. You love being out on the pitch, just you with the football. Obviously, you like being around people, having that sort of team bond, that camaraderie. Obviously, there's so many good things that come with being a professional footballer, like I said. But I feel like not just picking a career to go into, but just making decisions in life in general. You have to think about the bad things, in my opinion, instead of the good things. You have to think about, what problems am I willing to overcome in order to achieve what I want to achieve, you understand? So yeah, that's why this video is literally just about, how badly do you actually want to become a footballer? Because like I said, you can think about all the good things, the fame, the money, the cars, the girls. You get to meet certain people, you get to go to certain venues that regular people don't really get to go into, especially if you get to, Premier League level. You get to a very high level in football, whether it's Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, whatever it is. If you become, part of that sort of elite, sort of those elite leagues, you get a lot of privileges. Everyone understands the privileges you get, but in my opinion, you actually have to think about the bad things. You have to think about, okay, what problems will I encounter as a footballer, and how many of them am I willing to go through to actually get there, you know what I'm saying? Because you can say that you want to be a professional footballer, you can say that, yeah, I love playing football, I love doing this is what I want to do. But as soon as you hear that in order to become a professional footballer you have to train every day, if you're not willing to train every day, then you're just not gonna end up making it, you understand? So you literally have to think about all these negatives throughout your journey and actually ask yourself the question, do I actually want to do this? Are these problems where I don't really mind, facing? Because in my story, for me as an accountant, I was thinking, alright, cool, I want to be an accountant. But the minute I heard one of the problems will be, you have to work like 13 or 14 hour shifts, I said, hell no. I said, fuck that. So you see why you actually have to think about the different sort of problems you have to go through. Because some other people, they might hear the 13 hours, 14 hours, and they might be like, alright, cool, I don't mind doing the 13, 14 hours. If that's what I need to do, I'll do it, you understand? But me personally, I was like, that ain't for me, you understand? It's the same thing when people say, I want to become a doctor, but as soon as they hear that 7 year, you have to go to like university for like 7 years, do your doctorate and all of that, that's when they sort of get turned off and be like, nah, I don't want to do that, you understand? So when you actually tell yourself, I want to be a professional footballer, when people ask you, do you want to be a professional footballer, you have to understand all the negatives that come with it. Not only on your journey there, but actually when you get there as well. Because it's not like you get there and then all your problems are gonna disappear, you understand? In life, trust me, in life, you're always gonna have problems, you understand? No matter what you do, no matter how much money you have, you're gonna have problems. But you need to just decide, what problems are you willing to solve, what problems are you willing to go for in order to achieve whatever goal you have. For example, think about it. A guy like Elon Musk has money problems, and the homeless guy out on the street has money problems as well. I'm pretty sure you've heard that expression, that phrase, a million times. But you know what I'm saying. A billionaire has money problems. A homeless man has money problems. But whose problems would you prefer? You know what I'm saying. That's sort of the whole concept. Think about it. CR7, he has problems in his life, but a regular 9 to 5 worker, he has problems as well. So both sides have problems, but it's all about what problems are you willing to go through. So as a footballer, let's say you're on your come up. Let's say let's paint a picture. Let's say you're 16 years old. You're 16 years old, and you're in an academy. You're 16 years old, you're in an academy, and you're sort of fighting those last 2 years until you get up to 18. You're fighting in order to, you know, get that pro contract, whether it be at the academy you're at or at a different club. It doesn't really matter, as long as you know, as long as you break through, as long as you get that first professional contract. So think about the problems you're gonna have to go through on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, just in life in general. You're probably gonna have to, as a 16-year-old, you're probably gonna have to, you know, give up, you know, go into parties, go into events. You're gonna have to make sure that, you know, you're not drinking, your diet is somewhat decent, you understand? So you're gonna have to make all these sacrifices, and it's about, are you willing to actually make them? You understand? Because you can say you want all these things, but trust me, it's literally about the problems that you face and about the sacrifices you're willing to make as well. Also, things like this as well. Are you willing? Are your parents willing to, you know, drive you an hour and a half to go to training 3 times a week? You understand? Or maybe you take yourself. Are you willing to do that 90-minute commute to training and back 3 times a week? You understand? Are you willing to, you know, put in the work, not only in your team training sessions, but are you willing to actually, you know, find time in your day, find time on days when you have school as well? That's another problem you're gonna have to face. Are you willing to find time to still train? Whether that's training on your technicals, training on your fitness, whether that's you going to the gym and trying to get stronger. That's another problem you have to encounter right there. Are you willing to go through that problem of, you know, balancing school and football at the same time? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not, if you're complaining, if you're saying, oh, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, then normally you're going to fail at achieving your goal. You understand? You have to think about, alright, cool, am I willing to go through all these problems in order to achieve my goal and becoming a professional? You understand? And then what's it called? Furthermore, once you actually get to a professional level, let's say you get to a professional level, let's say Premier League, where you have a bit of notoriety, people sort of know the average. Let's say the average Premier League fan knows who you are. You know what I'm saying? You're walking down the street. If you were to walk down the street, people would know who you are. So that's another problem you're gonna have to face. You can't really have a normal life. You can't really just walk outside anywhere. You're probably gonna have, you know, security guards doing all of this. Another problem you're gonna have to face is that, you're gonna have to go training every day. You know, you're gonna have to do recoveries, you're gonna have to do massages, and obviously that might feel long to you in the moment, but hey, that's just another problem. That's just another sort of annoyance that you're just gonna have to deal with if you want to become a professional footballer. You know what I'm saying? On match days, are you willing to, you know, go in 3 hours early, even if it's a game at home? Let's say, are you willing to go in 3 hours early to, you know, prepare for the game, to lock in for the game, to do what you need to do for the game? Because I remember that's one big thing with me. I feel like as a professional footballer, not as a professional footballer, but in my football career, when I moved up to the first teams, when I moved up to the first teams, one problem for me that I just really didn't like, but I still just had to, you know, do it, was the meet times. In my opinion, the meet times were just crazy. Like me personally, I'm used to, you know, meeting up. All my life, most of my teams in my youth career, I was used to meeting up at like 45 minutes before the game, an hour before the game. You know what I'm saying? Nothing more, nothing less. But as soon as I move up to first teams, these guys expect you there 2 hours before the game, 2.5 hours before the game. You know what I'm saying? And I used to just think, yo, that is so long. Like, why am I doing this? You know? I feel like everyone sort of has a pet peeve in no matter what they do. Even if it's a thing like football, something that you love to do, there's always like a pet peeve. There's always just an annoyance. But are you gonna sit there and complain about it, or are you just gonna accept it is what it is? So obviously I just had to accept it is what it is. 2 hours before kickoff, 2.5 hours before kickoff. Yeah, I just had to accept that it is what it is. I just had to get there. You know, I can't be late, because if you're late, you're most likely gonna get dropped. Obviously, your teammates are going to be looking at you crazy. Manager's going to be looking at you crazy. Because, yeah, just looking at you like, yo, you don't have respect for people's time. You're going to get dropped. You're setting a bad example. You're setting a bad example for others. You understand? You're misplacing the managers trusting you, all these different type of things. But yeah, that's just me personally. That one thing that I don't like, that I struggle with, is just the early meet times. You understand? 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'm very much of a player. I just wanna come in, get changed, do a warm up, do a 20-30 minute warm up, straight into the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the build up, the anticipation, just sort of sitting there in the change room. That's not me personally, but hey, that's just a problem you have to go through. All these different type of problems you have to go through. Even once you make it, you're not gonna have to. You're not gonna have a normal life. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to. What's it called? You're not gonna be able to just stroll around and see people, or you're gonna get mobbed. There's other things like, you're not gonna be able to, go out to parties, go out to clubs. Obviously, like I said before, even for the academy example, you're gonna have to, stay on a strict diet. Stay on a strict diet. Obviously, after the game, you're gonna have to do cool downs, recoveries, just all these little procedures, all these little things that you're gonna have to do in order to become a professional footballer. So really just think about all the sacrifices you have to make, and just ask yourself, how badly do you actually want to become a professional footballer? Because a lot of people in life say, I want to do this, I want to do that, but the reason why they don't actually end up pursuing that thing, and they don't end up actually going for that thing, is not because the rewards aren't good. The rewards are always going to be good no matter where you go. Anytime someone says they want to do something, the rewards are always good, but every single time it's the sacrifices that they're not willing to make. It's the problems that they're not willing to go through. You understand? So you really have to ask yourself, forget about the rewards, forget about all of that. Obviously, all of that is nice, but trust me, it's literally just about your problems, because it's literally just about your problems. Just think, am I willing to go through this? And if you are willing to go through it, then, like I said, go through it. You're probably on the right path. But if you kind of see yourself, you're on that journey, let's say 14, 15, 16, 7, you get to 17, and then you kind of have, what's it called? You kind of start to see certain sacrifices you're gonna have to make, and you're not really feeling it. You don't really think it's worth making those sacrifices. You see certain problems that you don't really like, then you're probably not gonna make it, or you will make it, but you probably won't reach your full potential, because like I said, you're not willing to put in that work. You're not willing to make those sacrifices. Also, I forgot to mention, the long travels that you have to do, and also the pre-season training. That pre-season training, especially as you get to a higher level, is an absolute killer. But all in all, like I said, when you ask the question about yourself on, do I really want to become a footballer, literally just think about the negatives that you're willing to go through. You understand? And the thing is, you might not be able to answer this question right now in the present. You might find this out about yourself maybe a quarter of the way into your journey, halfway through into your football journey, 3/4 of the way into your football journey. Maybe it's 3/4 of the way into your football journey. You kind of look around and you kind of realize, damn, like, this is not for me. I'm not willing to go through the struggle. I'm not willing to do the process. You understand? You never know where when you're gonna find this answer out. But yeah, literally just ask yourself right now. If right now, currently, you feel like, alright, cool, I'm ready to go through whatever. Literally just go online and just look at certain footballers doing podcasts. Just look at the certain things they have to go through. Look at the problems that they have to navigate around. Think about having to getting injured and then having to do that long rehab. Go look at a footballer talking about their rehab process. They always say it was tough, it was hard work every single day. It felt like they had to do work. Obviously there's the mental struggle of not being able to play football, or thinking in your head, oh, am I ever going to be the same player? Literally just things like that. But when you hear things like that and you say to yourself, alright, cool, I'm willing to go through a bit of rehab. Even if I get injured, I'm willing to, go through that rehab, train my mind to get stronger mentally, in order for me to really believe that, I'll still come back the same player. You understand? So literally just ask yourself, what are all the bad things? Literally right now, just ask yourself, what are all the bad things about being a footballer, and am I willing to still go through that? Am I still willing to go through that in order to, achieve my goal of becoming a pro? And yeah, that's literally all I have to say for this vid. So hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.